So let's dive straight into the first question. What are the key ingredients for building and maintaining a high-performing data team?
I know we talked about this, and I think the answer is it really depending on what you are looking for and what company you're working for, and what do you need them to do for you. Because it depending on your end goal, a high performing team may look very different from one goal to the next. And to answer it in a most probably common manner, like in an insurance company or in a consulting company, how do you assemble a high performing team? I look for people who are naturally good with numbers and who have a knack with seeing numbers, seeing patterns, and also people who are not only good in math, but can apply math, can apply
Mm,
critical thinking. Because I find in my career, I found that there are people who are very smart, but book smart. So they don't necessarily apply. And people who know how to apply what they learn, they can continue taking new information and continue to connect dots beyond what they are taught to come up with a solution or an insight or conclusions. So it's like a good data team, you need to look for traits that are similar to Gen AI because it's constant learning and constant pivoting of the positions of understanding the what each person needs to do. So the team should have different skill sets, of course, between the
mhm.
team members, and they should also understand their weaknesses and strengths. So yesterday I was asked by LinkedIn to contribute to an article. I'm sure you have seen that on LinkedIn a lot
Yeah.
on data management. So the one they asked me to participate in was the one to talk about how do you decide whether you should be a data analyst or a data engineer and what to look for between the two and how you should choose one versus the other or how you pivot from one to the other, right? And I was reading through all the answers, and the answers were very technical. It's like, oh, this one you need more coding. This one you don't need as much coding, but you need this. And what was not written, which I thought was the most important part, is we really need to think about the communication skills. It is
Mhm.
also my experience that a lot of data people, they are fantastic with data engineers. They are fantastic with creating new features and different things, but they have a very hard time describing what they are doing in a language that fifth grader can understand. And that's be honest, that's pretty much what any one of us need to do when we're communicating data, communicating hard stuff to anybody. You need to put it in a language a fifth grader or a ninth grader can understand
Mm,
very easily. So communication skills, from my perspective, is really number one to build a strong data team. So the complement of each team members, you need to have a very strong communicator who can communicate, put a storyline together on the data that's out there, and persuade. So there, the differences is data insights, simple communication, telling a story, and persuasion. That's how I see the
mhm.
horizon.
Yeah, look, even for us, we see it now. I think look, you get a lot of talented people. No, obviously, no data, whether it's in the data engineering space or data science modeling. But now, what's apparent, I see is that domain expertise. So if you're like, no, you say you work in insurance, we deliver to insurance clients, and if they've not got that actuarial knowledge to actually be able to communicate with them on their sort of terms, it's going to be more challenging, isn't it, to articulate that, like say, into a sixth grade, ninth grade language for the whole team? Because then, if you do it, make it simplistic, you're gonna be able to just reach your goals quicker.
Yeah. And I think it's very important as well that not only do you need strong communication skills, you also need to have critical thinking skills and probably some common sense. You just talked about looking at the data in insurance, right? And you may not, when you're hired in as a data expert or data engineer or data analyst, you may not know the industry, but you have the data in front of you. And that data tells you a world of amazing stories, but you don't know what is actually right. And you don't really know what's wrong and what would you can just do the calculation and figure out what are the outliers and do the average. But then how do you compare that? So it's very important to use data to give you the foundation of what you need to learn with a particular role that you're in, but at the same time, seek guidance and benchmarks so you can tell whether the data you are managing or working with is correct. And then you can figure out whether you need to kick it back for more data quality control. And so those are all the skills that I think one will learn over time with communication. But communication is number one, because if you don't communicate, then all the work you do will just stay there, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I see the world.